Hey guys, how's everyone doing? Welcome back to Harry's Highlights. On this video, we're going to talk about the book, The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership by John C. Maxwell. Now, this is the second law we're going to talk about, the law of influence. Now, this is all about understanding that the true measure of leadership is influence. Nothing more, nothing less. It is the standard that all leadership is measured by. It is like your ability to influence others, your ability to influence, a team, a group, an individual, whatever it may be, is how you measure leadership. If you don't have influence, you'll never be able to lead others. People will not follow someone they're not influenced by. True leadership cannot be awarded, appointed or assigned. It comes only from influence. It has to be earned. It's something that it's very difficult, even with people in that have a position of some kind. People are only respecting them, or they're not really expecting, they're only listening to them because of the potential repercussions of not listening to them. Because it's a chain of command, they're forced to listen to them. They're not choosing to listen to them. With someone's leading, like when it's leadership, and you're influencing someone, they'll follow you regardless of your position or title. They'll follow you because they're influenced by you, because they recognise that you're looking out for their best interest, because you're looking out for the best things for the team, because you're trying to do the right things, not just follow an order. See, leadership is it's often misunderstood. An impressive title or an assigned position in leadership, they assume that individual to be a leader. But what actually happens is that assigned position or that impressive title is nothing more than words next to your name. It's if they're not influential, if they're not able to inspire people, that title or position really means nothing. Nothing more than just who you report to. It's when people misunderstand that as that person's a leader, it's more of a manager or more of a position that you've been placed in, not earned. You haven't made it to. And you can see the difference when people have those, try to hide behind those titles or hide behind those positions. You can see how they lack so much power. And when I say power, I don't mean it as to have it over others, but the ability to get people to do things that they might not want to do, but feel inspired to do or motivated to do because of a better cause, because of something bigger than themselves. To use rank to influence someone, to use that title, or say that threaten them because of I'm your boss, so if you don't listen to me, I'll cut your pay, or I'll withhold your pay, or I'll fire you. It's not leading. It's just a way to force people to do something. It's basically, strong-arming people into things. There's a lot of myths when it comes to leadership. There's 5 main ones that they especially talk about in the law of influence. The first ones they talk about, there's a real difference between leading and managing. Leaders influence people to follow. People want to follow them. They wake up in the morning, they go to bed at night thinking about that person's leadership, thinking about following them. What does that person want them to do? Management focuses on maintaining systems and processes. Normally a person in a leadership position, who's a leader themselves, created some sort of system or process for how to help people that don't have those natural leadership skills to be able to follow the step-by-step process to produce a result. But too many managers feel because people are listening, people are doing what they say, they feel like they're a leader. But they're not really doing what they say, they're just following the process or following the system. It just happens to be communicated from that person, and that person then mistakes that they're a leader. It's not that person listening or wanting to be influenced or following them going it's more what do I need to do to get paid? Not what do we do as a team? So, one of the best ways to test whether a person can lead rather than just manage is to ask them to create positive change. Managers can maintain direction, but often can't change it. They can follow that, I need you to keep everyone going this way, and they can follow that. They can be okay, I'll just make sure everyone keeps following this direction, and then when people sort of come off track or anything like that, it's hey, get back in line, or this needs to happen here, get these reports in. Make sure you show up to work at this time. Make sure you go on lunch at this time. Make sure you complete this project, produce this result, do that, do this. It's managing, and with that, a lot of delegating. But delegating isn't a bad thing. But when you're delegating without influence, it's very much based on the person will do the bare minimum, nothing more. When you're delegating based on influence or based on leadership, that person will go above and beyond the call of duty. They will go like, you know what, I recognize there was a problem here, so I proactively did this. I took the initiative to do that. That's when you're leading by influence. That's when you're leading by leadership. When it's at management, it's just like, I do this, I get this result. I follow this process, I get, paid this amount of money. It's not like, I want to make this company better. I want to make this team better. I want to do more for my leader. I want to make this easier for my leader. That is when you're leading by influence. That's when you're leading based on, leadership and your ability to influence others. So when you're trying to get someone who's a manager to create positive change, it's next to impossible for them. They don't think that way. They don't have that. Their lid is a lot lower than that. Their vision doesn't go beyond the delegated task or the system that's been put in place. They can't really forward project outside of the avenue they've been given, outside of the channel or the lane that they've been put in. They can't see any bigger picture or wider things. So, to move a person in a new direction, a new lane, a new avenue to change something positively, you need influence. For this person to go, okay, so I'm not going to follow this process. I'm going to do something else, which potentially could end up in a worse position. For them to do that, to take that risk, they have to be influenced by you, because you're speaking on a different level. Now, the second myth there is understanding the entrepreneur myth. So many people think that an entrepreneur is a leader, when the true definition of it is that they're just skilled at seeking opportunities. They're not always skilled with people, but they can't always influence, so they can't always lead. Some are. Some people are a natural born leader. They're entrepreneurs because they see an opportunity. They then, they handle everything. But not every entrepreneur is a leader. But most leaders could become an entrepreneur. The next one there is the knowledge myth. And that's understanding that knowledge and intelligence doesn't mean leader. Just because you have a lot of knowledge, just because you have a lot of intelligence, because you have a great understanding of something, doesn't make you a leader. There's plenty of research scientists and philosophers whose leadership ability doesn't even register on the charts. They might have astronomical amount of understanding on a certain subject or topic, but next to no leadership ability or chance at influencing anybody at all, and even the slightest. Next one is the pioneer myth. That's understanding that just because you're a trendsetter doesn't mean you're a leader. Just to become a leader, you can't just be out in front. You have to have people intentionally acting on your vision. And just because you decide that, I'm going to wear this, or I'm going to act like this way, or do this now, that doesn't make you a leader. That might make you a trendsetter, it might make you want to do something separate, do something different, individual, but that doesn't mean that you automatically have the ability to influence others to do the same. They might decide to copy you, but if you're there telling them this is the new way, this is the way of the future, this is something different, this is an improvement, this is a benefit, that's them. They have to intentionally act on that vision of yours. They have to go, okay, I want to act on that one now, as opposed to, I like that, I'm going to do the same. Next one there is the position myth. This is understanding it's not the position that makes the leader, it's the leader that makes the position. So you can put plenty of people in a position. There's plenty of times where it's like, if they made the mistake of the knowledge myth, said, a lot about this one, you should be the leader. And it's like, okay, I'm now the leader, you're in the position. But that doesn't, if you can't lead, you're not really the leader. You're just in a position of leadership. But your inability to lead, proves that the position doesn't make the leader. The leader is what makes the position. When people follow you, regardless of what your title or rank is, that's when you know you're a leader. When you understand that the proof of leadership is found in the followers, position and title actually have little to do with who's really in charge. And you can see this when you see people interact. You can tell who's the person that's leading, who's the person that's following. It's not a bad thing. It's just understanding that some people are natural born leaders and some people aren't. When you really recognize it, understand that that the true measure of leadership is influence. It's nothing more, nothing less. That means being in power is like being a lady. Margaret Thatcher once said this, that being in power is like being a lady. If you have to tell people you are, you aren't. If you have to tell people you're in power, you have to tell people, this is my rank, this makes me a leader, you aren't. When people follow you naturally, willingly, without you saying anything, that's when you know. So to summarize quickly, We explained the law of influence is understanding how to measure leadership. What truly defines leadership. If you don't have influence, you'll never be able to lead others. It doesn't matter your position, rank, or title. When you understand that leadership can't be appointed, awarded, or assigned, it can only come from influence. It has to be earned. You have to earn people's ability or openness to want to be influenced by you. That's how you understand leadership. Understanding those 5 myths that there's a difference between leading and managing. Leaders influence people to follow. Management focuses on maintaining systems and processes. When you understand the entrepreneur myth, that not every entrepreneur is a leader. Understand the knowledge myth. Just because you have a lot of knowledge and intelligence doesn't automatically make you a leader. The pioneer myth. Just because you're out in front, just because you're a trendsetter, that doesn't make you a leader either. The position myth. Understanding that it's not the position that makes the leader, it's the leader that makes the position. And lastly was that understanding that when it all comes together, you can recognize how the true measure of leadership is influence. Nothing more, nothing less. Well, that's all for me, guys. So I really hope this has been beneficial for you. It has been for me. I've really enjoyed sharing all of this with you. Now, what I want to do is give you a chance to leave a comment below on anything that you found that what you liked the most. I look forward to sharing more with you in the next episode of Harry's Highlights.